Is it recording?
It's recording.
Episode 2 with Heather Boss. All right. Thank you for coming in here and being part of this.
Sure.
How was your New Year?
We had to get up and leave to go to Houston for a soccer tournament at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay,
So it was great.
Well, we'll just jump straight into it. That's a great segue. High school coach at
Yes,
Reagan,
yes.
girls varsity.
Yes.
No break, no time off. How's pre-season going?
It's good. We had a bunch of scrimmages, and then the kids took a break, and then we came back, and then the varsity went to a tournament. The JV has just had scrimmages, but yeah, I mean, won all 3 games. So don't know how to judge. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to judge the high school girls soccer scene because I haven't been on it for about 8 years.
Yeah. So you were boys before?
Yes.
Smithson Valley.
Yes, Smithson Valley, and then I was a Reagan boys assistant, and I was a head coach at Stevens for a year. So.
Have you, even though it's been a short period of time
Mm-hmm.
with the girls, is there a major difference between the boys and the girls in the high school soccer scene?
So the girls actually asked me yesterday, they're like, do you like us or the boys better? And I was like, oh, no, but I mean, honestly, the biggest difference is not to like, the boys game obviously is a little faster. So like my varsity girls scrimmage our JV boys like quite a bit just to make them play a little faster. But it's the girls seem to pick up stuff faster. Like
Yeah.
if we do pattern play stuff and things like that, like they get it, and they like this weekend, the stuff that we worked on even last week, they were doing it. So I think that part, they just, whereas boys sometimes it takes a little longer because it's just so fast. And then I don't know, it's like a weird side thing. We do a lot of stats on like we have Huddle, and they do like a stats thing, and it does like transitions.
Yeah.
And so like a typical boys game when I coach, the transitions would be like 75 attacking transitions to like 86. The girls, I think we've had like 32 to like
That's
25.
quite a big difference.
So it's just, yeah. I mean, and so I don't know if people know attacking transitions. It just means how many times you turn the ball over and how many times the other team turns it over to you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was that, like we would have boys games that were like 112. That was a bad game. 112 to like 90. Whereas like the girls, we had a game, I just got it back. We won 5-0 and the attacking transitions were 18 to 12.
Okay. Wow.
So like I was like, we had the ball more, but I was like, does that mean we kept it more, or the ball just doesn't get turned over as much? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
How long have you been doing pre-season now?
So we started the day after Thanksgiving break, so December 1st.
Okay.
So we had like preseason, which in high school it's kind of funky. Our preseason actually is August to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then our pre-preseason, and then our preseason is when we come back and we can start practice after school. And so we had like 2 weeks, and then we had scrimmages, and it's quick.
Not to give your style of play or anything away to any potential opposition that might be listening, but like, what have you focused on? You mentioned there like transitions, and we all know that's a big part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your style? How do you want Reagan playing?
I just want to keep the ball. Like, that's all we talk about is, like, keep the ball. Like, we want to go forward. Like, you want to find, but if it's not on, then keep the ball. Like, just recycle it back. So we talk about that quite a bit. So preseason was a lot of just making kids confident on the ball. Like, if you can't go this way, can you keep it, turn, and go that way? Like, and be confident to do. It's not a hot potato, as we sometimes
How
say.
many days a week do you train?
So the cool thing about high school in Texas is you get to see them every day because it's a class period. It's part of their PE credit. So I see them 5 days a week for 45 minutes. But a lot of those kids are doing club in the fall, so you don't want to kill them. Like, that's not. So we do a lot of strength and conditioning. So we do lifting and things like that on Monday and Thursday, and then we have conditioning Wednesday, and then we only play soccer 2 days a week until after Thanksgiving. Then we play every day.
Are you on the field every day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in what does a week look like? Okay, so I've only ever coached club, right? So, we have our 3 days a week for the top teams.
Hour and 30 minutes.
90-minute sessions, not much time to get your points across. But if you're there every single day, like, I would love to hear, like, what time do the players come in? Do they do, like, the lifting first, or are you on the field? Or how does that, team meetings, game analysis, how does that week look for you?
So, like, a normal week during high school season, when like, we're not in tournament, this is what I call tournament time. Like, there's never enough time to catch up because it's like come back for 3 days, tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like 3 weekends in a row. But once we settle in and it's like 2 games a week, so normally you play Tuesday, Friday. So normally you would say you come in Monday, the kids have had Sunday off. If we had a hard Friday night game, they would have had like a recovery on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, they had Sunday off. They would have had recovery Saturday morning, which is like light lifting, stretching, ice baths, stuff like that. So Monday they come in, it's like a training session. So we have our class starts at the soccer class for varsity is 8th period. So it'll start at 3:40 and we'll train to like 5:15. So hour 45 minutes. And that's a good training session. And we go over like whatever we're trying to focus on and then maybe set pieces if our game's early the next day on Tuesday, if we have a 5 o'clock game.
Do you get to review other high schools' games? And then develop your tactics around about how we're going to approach the opposition, or is it very similar to club? Right, we don't go and scout. We know how other clubs play, but we don't rock up to their facilities and scout them, right?
So high school, you do get to scout, and especially when it comes to district, because you have to get like 1st through 4th in district to go to playoffs.
Yeah.
So like you do get film, or I personally like to go watch.
Yeah.
I don't like the kids to watch as much because. What if they're playing a team that's easy and the kids are like, we got this. So you kind of have to limit it. But now there's so much video everywhere. Like I can go look on Huddle Fan and see like highlight videos of people and like games, everything's streamed.
Yeah.
So it's real easy. And there's some districts though that like you're not allowed to share film. Like that's like a big no.
Do you develop any of your training sessions geared towards who you're playing, or is it focus on us and how we want to play? Right, we're possession orientated, so this is how we build our attacks. This is how we break into the final third. Or is it like we're playing this school at the weekend? They're a bit direct. We need to learn how to deal with long balls. Or is it? Do you focus on yourself more?
I think I don't. Because that was one of the things.
Balance?
Yes, because like this weekend we played like 3 different teams, and I try to in the preseason get the kids to sort it out on their own on the field. Like, hey, we kind of know like our district teammates, like opponents, like what formations they may play and things like that, and what players to watch for. But I don't necessarily change the formation or anything like that, or like tactics. Like we're not going to change how we play. But I want the kids to be aware of stuff, but I want them to also problem solve. Like that's like my big thing is them, because you and I both know like you could play a team and you could scout them and everything you watch says that they play a 3-5-2, and then you show up to the game and then they are in like a 4-5-1 and you're like, okay. So I try not to like, but there are other coaches that do. They scout and they break everything down and it's and. But me, like, it's just the way the game is played, like, stuff changes. Like, we played a team on Friday. I don't know, the days blend together. Friday, that they played one formation the first half, and the second half they played a different formation. And the kids just kind of figured it out. Yeah. And I asked them after the game, I go, just to make sure, I'm like, what formation were they playing this half? And they're like, well, 4-4-2 with 2 forwards up top and a dime in the middle. That means that they're figuring it out on the field. And that means we are doing a better job preparing outside of the game. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
to
100%.
Make them problem solve. I mean, that's part of soccer.
Well, just recognising not necessarily formations, but just different game scenarios. Mm-hmm. Like you said, there's 2 up front as opposed to 3 up front or 1 up front.
Or like the teams,
Right. How do we play against a back 4 as opposed to a back 3? Like I feel like you don't have to go over that in training. I mean, you can set your opposition up in that and do shadow play or phase play or whatever. Yeah. But players understand it's just different game scenarios. Nothing's changed. It's just how we might attack a little bit differently. Yeah. There's more space in the wide areas when the team plays against back 3 than there is a typical back 4, just adapting to that. So but it's interesting. I mean, I've always as a coach wanted to be, let's focus on us and how we want to set up and play, as opposed to worrying about what right now the opposition.
Well, I just think like players in general, like you're making them better players if they have to problem solve. Like if I just give it to you, you're not really learning it on your own. Like you're not, I mean, and everybody, like our style of play is the same, but then, there was a team we played this past weekend that their back line was really dropped, and there was a huge gap between their sixes and their back line, and the kids weren't finding that player checking in. Then we finally did, and I'm like, you got tons of time to turn. And so then they started figuring that out, whereas some teams aren't like that. Yeah. Or a team we played had 3 really fast girls up front, and they just kept trying to kick it. But And you see, and they have to struggle. So like in scrimmages, we had a game we played. It was on a big, nice field. And if you play possession, you're like, yay, like we can move the ball and all that. And then the next morning, we scrimmaged a team that played 2 lines of 4, low block, gonna try to counter on you. And the kids were so frustrated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just the game. Like, you have to solve that. Like, how are you going to break them down? Like, are you going to, you know, have players are going to have to, like, take tight turns and you're going to have to play in and then out. And so, you know, but you could see the frustration on the kids because they're young.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I want them. I want them to be able to not get frustrated and just solve the problem. You know.
So you also coach in our academy, and you also coach the 16 girls as well. So you have my daughter,
and the 18s,
right? You have my daughter,
18s.
you have my daughter Ava, 18s, 19s. You have the 16s. Obviously, going from high school or from them to high school is different.
It is.
How do you handle it all? Because I mean, you like I said, okay, so I've watched your practices with Ava's team. And
love them. It is.
Right.
It is a fun environment. It's not for everybody, though.
I know, but I'm interested in how you can prepare yourself to go from that to then coaching under 15s for under 19s.
I don't know. Sometimes they're fun though because they put it all in perspective. Like, you know, I mean, the high school kids, it's so focused on like competition. I mean, the littles are competing, but like it's so focused on like competition and like I've got to score this and I want these stats and my highlight video and this and that. Whereas the littles, they're just so happy to be there with their friends. And if a butterfly flies over, like, look at that. And, you know, the games, like if you know you've done a good game and training session, I want to call them activities, but it's kind of a game when the kids are like, can we play this again?
Yeah.
Like that to me means that it's something and you know, it just makes them want to come out and play.
You've done a fantastic job with them.
No, and they're fun because it just puts it in perspective. Like, even with the high school kids, like we just want them. If they have fun and compete, then you know that's. But I mean, the littles, like they're just little sponges. That's why it's so neat to be around them.
Do you we'll jump back to kind of your high school now. The relationship between a high school coach and a competitive club coach, like how? And
I know a lot of them. I've been around long enough.
Yeah, I do think it's improving.
Yes.
But I know there were a few years ago there were club coaches did not like the high school coaches and vice versa. But we are developing, and I think it all came down just to like periodization and player load, and
it's still there's still some that don't.
It probably is, right? Club coaches were annoyed at the amount of training or the amount of games or the amount of lifting. They come back to the club and they're physically fatigued, and now they've got to play a quick turnaround in April and May and cram in games and vice versa, you know, all this type of stuff. But how important, because you're at both, you have the SA United and you have the Reagan High School, like your periodization, do you think about the club players? Like, you know, how do you...
So in the fall, our big thing, in the fall for soccer, high school soccer in the fall from like August to, like I said, Thanksgiving, when most of them are, and some places you have more club players than others. So you have to balance that.
Yeah.
Because if you just focus on making sure you're managing the load of those club players, at some schools you have like 50% of your kids don't play club.
Right.
So you have to balance it. But I've always done, no matter what, we will do like a lift day, like a lift almost kind of flexibility band recovery day for the kids that played on the weekend on Mondays. I'm not going to come in and train or do conditioning in August, September, October when some of the kids have gone and played 2 or 3 games on Saturday and Sunday. That doesn't make any sense. And so I try to balance that. We try to do our conditioning day on a Wednesday so that it's not backed up to if they're going to go play on the weekend, like a showcase or something like that. Friday is always like 11v11 day because if we need to manage kids and not have them train as much, because they're going to go play 2 games on the weekend, then we can maybe just have them play a little bit in the 11v11.
No, from under 15s to under 19s, we're not seeing them at SA night. We're not seeing our high school players that much anyway because they're off with you. But you got something like the Lone Star Showcase, right? It's slap bang in the middle of it, like January the 31st.
Yes.
And so they'll be playing, and they're in the middle of their high school season. They'll come back in and do a couple of training sessions with us. So it's just it's balancing the workload of the players. And I know at our club we're beginning we're beginning to invest a lot more in learning and educating ourselves on periodization, so that if we do prepare for the Lone Star Showcase and we know, you guys at Reagan or Smith and Valley or whoever have had a really tough schedule, it's not come in and hold 4 sessions prior to the event and let's get some fitness in and let's do high intensity sessions. It's we're understanding about how to manage and train and reduce our training sessions, go from 90 minutes to 60 minutes, or just have contact time.
And it's nice that happens, and it kind of stinks because, and it's better. You're absolutely correct. Like when I first,
you used to didn't care about that. I don't know what the high school coaches.
It went both ways.
But we're nope, you're coming in and you're running, and we've got a game at the weekend. They're like, we just played 3 games in like 48 hours. What?
No, I still remember okay, I'm gonna age myself. So when I was at Brandeis High School. I had been coaching high school for like 5 years. And it was when they had the girls, it was the DA for the boys. It was DA for the girls, right? It had just come out, I think. Or maybe it was ECNL. It was right when those top leagues first started coming out, and they were restricting players playing in high school, but then they went back to letting them playing in high school.
Well, no, maybe it was ECNL.
It might have been because we had DA, right? And then it flipped to ECNL, right? I think that's what it was. And I remember getting an email from a club coach that was like, it was almost like excuse these girls from training because I need them to be good at training tonight because we have this weekend. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I can't just have a kid sit out and basically let the other kids, you have to balance that too, because if you put one group of kids above another group and you can rest because you're going to go play hard games, but these kids are in this league and they don't need to rest or they're not playing club. I was like, what? But it also kind of irked me because it made me feel like that club coach didn't think that I was taking into account that his kids were playing club and these kids were driving to Austin to play.
And kids love playing for their school. And I think we, as club coaches, would be doing a disservice if we didn't encourage that and promote that. And I know it's a good, I know sometimes it could interfere in what we're trying to do, but at the end of the day, like you said, you keep going back to it like they're kids.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy the sport, go and play the sport. We're immensely proud of our players that go and make, Varsity and JV.
Well, and high school coaches need to take into account the fact that you need kids that are playing club because it's more touches on the ball.
Right.
You're getting... I just think it goes...
We're helping each other. We're helping develop the players to make them better for their high school,
And then hopefully we do that. And again, we talk about all the time, sometimes there are some high school coaches that maybe aren't as qualified. Sometimes there are club coaches that aren't as qualified.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's everywhere. It just is what it is. But my perspective is I'm going to try to do the best I can to help out those players just like their club coaches are doing, to make them better players. That's, and it gives the kids an opportunity to play different styles, and have the more coaches they can train under and deal with different styles, the better player they're going to be. But I think it's better now, the whole high school club relationship, but there's still some, but I mean, like I said, I think it's getting there. It's just there's so many leagues and showcases and
I know.
It's and I mean and now with the whole birth year thing, I don't know how that's going to affect the
That's a podcast for another day.
It is.
We'll come on to that, I'm sure, later on in the spring and get everyone's opinions on it.
I remember when it first switched.
On there, isn't it?
I remember when it first switched.
Well, you're breaking clubs up. You're breaking teams up. Sorry, down the middle. And starting all over again. So
because I think Emily was about to be a U11, or she was a U10 about to be a U11 when it switched. And so she would have been with a different age group. Well, no, she was playing with her pure birth year, but she was supposed to be playing because it was the what we're about to go to. It was where you play with your grade year, your school year. And she was playing with her birth year. So it didn't affect her as much, but I remember it just ripped apart.
Will that affect your high school?
No, because the kids
it's
really,
just really club.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it too is the college like colleges, I know I've had some kids that they go to showcases and they haven't hit the recruiting deadline yet because they're that kid that's a younger grade because it's by grade when they go. So I mean I kind of get it, but yeah, I don't envy high school. It doesn't affect us. I don't envy you guys in club. Sorry, that's another podcast.
I know. It's just pick one and stay with it, please. US soccer. Okay. I want to finish up on talking about your UEFA badges, or and your coaching education, because you've done what do you have on the USSF side? Your A license, your B license?
No, I've got my C.
Okay,
I did my C.
Okay, you went up to your C.
Yes.
Okay, and now you are going through the UEFA pathway, which is the European, the European way they do it, and you're currently doing it over there in Scotland with the Scottish FA.
Yes.
It's
my second license with them, so I did the UEFA C through them.
Brilliant. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey with UEFA. What you think of it compared to the USSF coaching badges as well. I'm at the mantra that I think any license you do is going to be good for you.
Yes.
You're always going to find, even if it's not great, you're always going to find little snippets or little nuggets of information that you can take back to you to improve yourself. But I do hold the UEFA badges in a high regard. So we'd love to get your thoughts on them.
And it's funny because the UEFA badge, it would have never crossed my mind if I hadn't done, and I know it's a little rivalry, I guess, or it used to be more of, so I had done a lot of the United Soccer Coaches licenses. So I did the
NSCAA.
Now it's the NSC.
Now it's USC.
Now it's USC. United Soccer Coaches.
That's the pathway I took.
Yes,
I went all the way up. I
stuff.
thought they were brilliant. I went all the way up to the Premier Diploma. And that's right, because you did your master coach, and that's the one I want to get myself onto next.
Yes, yeah. And that's what got me into the whole UEFA. But I was at the time trying to do my USSF. By the way, one of the best licenses I ever took was I don't even know if they still do it. It's the youth one, Youth National.
With the NSA or the USC?
I don't think it was through them. I think it was through US
With
Soccer.
USSF, yeah. USSF did a youth.
It was like a national youth diploma. Youth. That was one of the best ones I've ever.
I don't think it's around anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And it really, if you're an academy coach, it broke everything down by age. It was amazing.
It was 8 to 12.
I think it was
around about there, wasn't it?
It was U5 to U12.
Okay.
So it was just neat, and it's what that and the NSCAA United Soccer Coaches, however I don't know what we call it now, still call it NSCAA sometimes. So that National Youth one and the what's the first license for NSCAA? It's the National or Advanced National? It's National.
They have their regional diplomas, or they used to have their regional diplomas. Then it went National, Advanced National.
So doing the national one and that youth soccer license sucked me in. I was it was like mind blown. Like, oh my God, this is how you organize a practice session, and this is how you get your topics, and it sucked me in. And from then on, my poor husband and my poor family, I'm always like, what's the next license?
So what did you like about the USC? And then what did you like about UEFA? And are there any similarities?
So the USA, yes, I feel like there are, and in one of the master coach diploma for USC, they talked about because is it Ian? It's not Ian Donnery. It's
Ian Barker used to be. I don't think he's there anymore.
Yes, he's kind of doing his own thing, but he was the one that took some of the UEFA stuff and brought it to USC, and I think that's why I liked it so much. Because I liked the United Soccer Coaches style, and that's very similar to what you see in UEFA. It's very, this is the framework, these are our topics, this is kind of how we want a training session to look, but as long as you get the coaching points and coaching topics, hit those marks and show that you can do that, they don't tell you. I think what happened is, and I don't know, I haven't done a USSF license in a hot second. It's been 4 or 5 years, and I know that everybody's always evolving and changing. But when I did the USSF courses, it was more like, this is what your training session is going to look like no matter what your topic is. It was all very using the game to teach, which I agree with, but you can't always, you're not going to have a training session that's always 9v9.
Right.
With 2 small goals and a big goal. That's just, and with throw-ins and with that's just not a training session that we can do all the time. Sometimes you have to do a pattern play or things like that. And I think that's what I like about United Soccer Coaches and UEFA is they have functional training sessions and tactical training sessions. Whereas when I did my USSF, it was, no, you're only going to teach to a 4-3-3 and your session has to be game related, like from the get-go.
Yeah. And they don't budge on it.
No.
But like you said,
and I don't know if it's still like that. I don't know.
You'd have to speak to Brendan and Seth.
Yeah.
And they've just done their B license. Lawrence and Shuby and Wade have just done their C license again. I don't know how the new format is.
Yeah.
But when I did it back then with the National, the Advanced and the Premier as well, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were giving us, I always felt they were there to improve you as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
They coached the coach.
Yep.
And it was to give you the tools to adapt to whatever your environment is, like back at your club.
Yes.
And so like if you don't have enough for 9v9 or the 2 goals or right, what do you do next? Yeah, you do functional, you do a small sided game, you do a rondo, you do technical work, and they had little framework that you would stick
and
to.
it was just, and the topic, so that was the neat thing. So the United Soccer Coaches Master's Diploma was cool because it had a project, but then it tagged with the UEFA C. That was kind of their selling point to a lot of coaches. So you got to work with the Scottish FA. And so I had done my USSFC, and I'm not going to lie, I applied a couple times to do my USSFB, and I kind of got turned away because they said I didn't work with a high enough level of club kid, which kind of, I was like, oh, but I coach older kids, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's, you don't always get in when you apply to things. I didn't get into the UEFA B the first time. I got in the second time. So, because, and that's good. It means they're screening coaches, both sides, USSF and UEFA as well. But when I did the UEFA C, it was the way they broke down the game. Like, so even, for example, the UEFA B, our topics come from, it's not like, your topic is, so they give you 4 formations that they discuss, which I always love that. I mean, we're all like, as coaches with older kids, you want to be able to use different formations, right? And be knowledgeable. So they have 4 formations they talk to you about, but then they break the game down into like sections, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So it's like attacking combinations in the middle third, attacking combinations in wide areas, defending in the middle third, and defending in wide areas. And I'm like, it sounds so simple, but I was like, that's basically what the game is.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's, so, and then you have to basically make sessions, with those 4 formations. And so me being kind of a soccer nerd that I am, is what I call myself, I love it. Like, it's so interesting to me. I got to take myself out, and they use the match analysis. So you analyze your own team, and then you set up your training session, which I think in club, it's super hard for you guys to do that because you'll have 2 games on the weekend. You only get an hour and a half with them. Whereas like high school, I can call my kids in before school at 8:00 and do 30 minutes of film and talk about things and then go train. And it's just harder in club to do that. So I'm hopefully helping kids in club analyze the game a little better, because I think that's a big part of it too. But that's why I like the UEFA is and I think the USSF does that. I think you have to analyze a game, but I just love the way they broke it down. Like, just
Has that been your favorite part, or is there another favorite part about the UEFA, your UEFA journey?
No, I mean, I think that's a lot of it is, so I won't do the UEFA A, but they told us a little bit about it. So like I said, there's 4 formations in the UEFA B that you cover, and then when you get to the UEFA A, there's like 7.
Yeah.
And so they just keep making it a little harder, but it's stacked, which most licenses are, like anywhere you go. And I just like the way that, like I said, they give you a little freedom as a coach, as long as you're hitting the sort of framework they've given you, like your coaching points. So like attacking combos in the central area, there's so many things you could do, and they're fine. Like whatever you pick, they're, and they do just the way that they kind of just give you that little framework. I don't know. I just like it. That's mine. But like I said, I haven't done a USSF in a while. I don't want to,
What's your next step with UEFA? Are you back in Scotland soon? How much have you got left to do with the B?
So I just have to film, and as a matter of fact, I have to film a session and submit it. And I have a couple things. So they give us a mentor. I was very lucky to get kind of.
Did you get him? Did you get Brendan's favourite?
Yes, I did.
Did you get him?
I got Stephen Naismith as my mentor. So all of you guys that are Everton fans.
Everton legend Stephen Naismith.
I know, he's the nicest guy ever too. I didn't want to like, he's very down to earth and nice. He's like super, and they said he zipped through all of his UEFA licenses. He's super smart, like soccer wise.
Yeah.
So yes, he's my mentor and he's very approachable. And so there's a couple things I want to ask him before I turn in my final video, because it makes you nervous when you turn in that final one. Like, am I going to pass? Am I going to fail? So I just filmed 2 videos and I'm going to send him some snippets and see what he thinks before that last little thing. And hopefully I pass and I get that B badge.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, good luck.
Thank you.
On the B. Good luck with Reagan's high school season.
Yes.
Wishing you all the best. Thank you for everything you do for our club, as well as my daughter,
it's
Ava.
Fun.
And look, we'll wrap it up here, but thank you so much, Eva,
thank
for
you.
coming in
It's
today
been fun.
and chatting with us.
Exciting.
So, yeah, it's a little bit, we're slowly evolving, right? We're out of my living room and we're at the office.
We are.
With some blankets and some lights. We're moving
background.
up. So
yes.
thanks for coming in and being part of episode 2, and I've really enjoyed hearing from you today.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Awesome. All right.